Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're doing something a little different. We're undertaking a fundamental shift in perspective.
A really big one.
We're moving away from that tired, restrictive language of deficits and disorders.
Right.
And instead, we're going to look at cognitive differences as an essential, beautiful, and frankly, a necessary variation in the human experience. We're diving deep into neurodivergence, but reframed.
Radically reframed.
Our sources today are from a really insightful white paper. It's titled Neurodivergent Souls, Rare Flowers in Humanity's Garden. And it was prepared by the Human and AI Learning Institute.
That's the Hale Institute for short.
Right, the Hale Institute. So our mission here is to pull out the hard scientific facts about conditions like ADHD, autism, and then immediately synthesize them with this really powerful, positive framing that the research offers.
To really understand, in a practical way, how these individuals can genuinely flourish.
Yes, when the environment is right.
And setting the context here is it's absolutely vital because the source material really demands that we start from a place of fact.
Okay.
Neurodivergence is not a moral failing. It's not a personality flaw. It refers to natural, predictable variations in brain function.
Right.
Variations that affect how people perceive, process, and respond to the world around them.
So it's a difference in wiring.
It's exactly that. And what's so crucial to grasp is the Hale Institute's core position. These are alternative ways of being. They're complex cognitive styles, and each one brings distinct gifts and challenges, not just problems to be fixed.
And when we use that big umbrella term neurodivergence, we're covering a pretty major spectrum which the source material tackles head on.
It does.
We're including things like autism spectrum disorder, ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia,
Tourette syndrome, sensory processing differences.
Well.
The list goes on.
and these are the key conditions the paper explores through this new, more positive lens.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this with some quick grounding knowledge.
Yeah.
Because I think the scale of this variation is something most of us underestimate.
Hugely.
Section 1 of the sources gives us the science right away. They say, 15 to 20% of the U.S. population is considered neurodivergent?
That's the number, 15 to 20%.
So, that's 1 in 5 people. This isn't some rare edge case.
Not at all. It's a massive segment of humanity.
Yeah.
And our modern institutions are pretty clearly failing to accommodate their needs and their cognitive styles.
And the causation piece is so important for dismantling those old, harmful myths.
Oh, absolutely. The Hale research states it unequivocally. Neurodivergence is largely genetic.
So it's not parenting.
No, it is not poor parenting or a lack of willpower. They have identified many associated genes across these different conditions, and the differences start literally in prenatal brain development.
Wow.
The paper focuses on the architecture itself. We're talking about identified pathways, like genes linked to dopamine regulation that fundamentally alter attention span.
So it's a literal difference in brain architecture.
Yes. And that fact alone should just shift the entire conversation,
It should. And yet, despite this being a natural genetic variation, these individuals face such intense societal barriers. There's a real irony there.
The contrast is heartbreaking, really. You have individuals whose brains are wired for incredible pattern recognition, deep specialization, maybe nonlinear thinking.
Real brilliance.
But they just encounter these massive systemic hurdles. The sources cite 3 critical challenges: social exclusion, huge employment barriers,
Which leads to underemployment, right?
widespread underemployment, and then, as a result, significantly higher rates of mental health challenges, which often just stem from that constant pressure to mask or conform.
So this raises the core question of the whole paper, right?
It does. It's the launch pad. If these brain differences are genetic and natural, just alternative ways of being, then the burden can't be on the individual to normalize.
The answer has to be in shifting our environment.
Exactly. Not the person. We have to accommodate the difference.
And this is where the source material introduces this really profound philosophical framework to guide that accommodation.
The garden metaphor.
Yes, likening humanity to a rich, diverse garden. It draws on wisdom from Bahá'í teachings.
And it's important to note, they're not drawing on it for doctrine necessarily. It's more that it provides this universal framework for understanding human difference as a source of strength.
Of beauty.
Yes, of beauty, not division. The quote they use is wonderful.
Well, I have it here. Diversity of hues, form, and shape enriches and adorns the garden and heightens its charm.
I mean, that says it all. The variety is the point.
So how do we connect that metaphor to cognitive differences? What's the direct application?
Well, the paper suggests that neurotypical minds are like, say, abundant, adaptable daisies or sunflowers. They can pretty much thrive in most standard environments.
Okay.
But neurodivergent minds, they're more like rare orchids or unique desert blooms. They need specific, tailored care, particular environments.
And when they get that care?
They offer an unmatched, singular beauty and resilience to the whole garden.
That is a beautiful way to frame it. But I have to ask, because I'm sure someone listening is thinking this, doesn't that risk putting pressure on people to always provide unmatched beauty?
That's a great question, a necessary check. And the source addresses it by shifting the focus. The pressure isn't on the flower to bloom.
It's on the gardener.
Exactly. The pressure is on society, the gardener, to provide the right soil, light, and water. The emphasis is on justice through accommodation, not expecting high performance in bad conditions.
So the unifying element, the thing that makes it safe, is that the core of the person, the soul, is noble regardless of cognitive style.
Precisely.
Which means we can stop seeing a diagnosis as a list of disorders to fix.
And start compiling a list of nourishment needs to meet.
Okay, that's a huge shift.
It is. And the Hale Institute gives us an incredibly actionable list. It's about changing the environment, the soil, to match the flower's needs.
So let's get into those practical strategies.
Let's do it. First up is sensory overload. The metaphorical need here is shade from harsh sun.
Simple enough. What does that look like in practice?
It's really practical stuff. Accessible quiet spaces, sound dampening tools, regulated lighting, just providing protection from things that can overwhelm a highly sensitive nervous system.
Okay, next. A big one for many people, executive dysfunction.
Right. And this isn't laziness, it's a challenge with the brain's management system. So this person needs a trellis for climbing.
A trellis. I like that. So support structures.
Exactly. Visual schedules, project management software that breaks big tasks into tiny steps, coaching that focuses on building skills, not just demanding compliance.
And what about social misreading? That can lead to so much exclusion.
For that, the need is companion planting.
Companion planting.
Think about it. It means peer mentors, but also, and this is key, targeted empathy training for everyone involved.
So not just for the neurodivergent person.
No, that's the point. It's for neurotypical colleagues and classmates too. It means teaching people to be direct, to not rely on implied social cues, to understand that a different communication style isn't rudeness.
It shifts the burden of adaptation.
It makes it reciprocal. It's learning for the whole group.
Okay, moving on to emotional dysregulation.
Here, the need is a gentle watering rhythm.
Consistency, predictability.
You got it. Support means mindfulness practices, scheduled self-regulation breaks, safe rituals for transitions. For a brain that struggles to filter things, predictability is just. It's the lifeblood of stability.
And then we had the two sides of the same coin, hyperfocus and distractibility.
For this, the individual needs pruning and pacing, and this translates directly to better workflow design.
How so?
Well, if you have someone who hyperfocuses, instead of forcing a standard 9 to 5, you structure their work around, say, intense 90-minute sprints.
Followed by a real break.
A mandated 20-minute sensory break. You optimize the brain's natural rhythm instead of fighting it.
And finally, challenges with language processing.
The paper suggests the need for enriched soil with metaphor. I love this one.
Explain that.
The support strategies are visual aids, flowcharts, hands-on learning, but also poetic cues using analogy and imagery to bridge communication gaps. Making information more tactile for a mind that processes symbolically or visually first.
This whole list, it just shows that real inclusivity isn't about ignoring differences.
No, it's about actively honoring them, customizing the soil for the plant.
And once you provide that tailored nourishment, the focus can finally shift.
It shifts entirely to cultivating the strengths that were there all along. The sources really emphasize spiritual training, inclusive design.
Let's talk about the spiritual practices part. That can sound a bit abstract. What does the Hale paper actually recommend?
It's about leveraging the strengths that are already present. So, for example, they promote mindful movement or symbolic rituals to help with emotional regulation.
Things that connect the body and mind.
Exactly. And crucially, they recommend philosophical inquiry and poetic reframing.
Not just reading poems, I take it.
Not at all. It's about analyzing complex systems, leveraging pattern recognition. It's about helping people define their own identity outside of societal labels so they can see their difference as a gift.
So it directly tackles that confidence crisis that comes from always feeling like you don't fit in.
It does. It's fascinating because the paper essentially defines justice not as sameness, but as tailored nourishment. That's a radical idea for our institutions.
Absolutely. Did the sources give any examples of, companies or schools that are actually doing this well?
They do. They cite some companies, especially in tech, that have totally shifted how they hire and design their workspaces.
Moving away from the standard interview.
Right. They use task-based assessments instead. They have dedicated quiet zones. They promote asynchronous communication. These aren't just seen as accommodations.
Their design principles.
Yes. And they lead to measurable gains in talent retention and innovation because the environment is optimized for the kind of deep, focused work that benefits many neurodivergent employees.
The goal, then, is better outcomes across the board. Employment, education, community life.
That's the goal.
So really, the core message here is a call to cultivate. We're all being called to be conscious gardeners of the soul.
For ourselves and for others.
It means designing environments that honor difference, not demand conformity. It means creating structures that soothe and uplift. And it means offering justice.
Which means tailored nourishment, not treating everyone identically.
We have to recognize what a mental hurdle that is, though. For decades, our society has used the medical model. Find the flaw, fix the person.
And this research asks us to just flip that script entirely. The environment is often what's disabling, not the individual.
It's a profound reframing.
It is. Neurodivergent individuals are not weeds to be removed, but rare blooms to be cherished. They're essential to completing the garden of humanity.
This whole deep dive, then, is about offering you a powerful new perspective on human diversity, moving beyond just tolerating difference.
To actively, appreciatively cultivating it, and to leave you with the ultimate synthesis from the source. Consider this quote from Bahá'í. Regard man as a mine rich in gems of inestimable value.
Mine rich in gems.
Every single person holds unique, essential treasures inside them. Our job as a society is just to create the environment that allows those gems to be found and polished.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener, today? If the goal is tailored nourishment justice through individualized care, we want you to reflect on this. What specific watering rhythm or trellis in your own life or in the lives of the people you interact with is missing right now? If you know someone who struggles with organization, could you offer a shared visual schedule as a trellis? If someone you love gets overstimulated, how could you help create shade? We encourage you to go explore how you can become a better designer of environments that truly and beautifully honor difference.